Today, it's Momentum Monday, but it's important to know momentum beats motivation every single time. This is related to you and your team because most likely you've found those moments where your standards start to erode, where you go into a bit of a drift, and before you notice it, things have shifted too dramatically. It happens quietly, politely, respectfully. It happens while you're in the middle of a meeting, while you're talking about improvements, and while you believe that you're still working on it. And the reason that things drift like this is because that we overestimate breakthroughs and we underestimate the power of momentum. So when you hear the phrase of today, deliver small wins daily, it might sound almost offensive, like it's too small, too basic, too incremental. We're launching towards bigger things. Let's slow it down. We have a bit of a long one today. We're going to dig into this idea of momentum and motivation. A small win is not busy work. It's not about checking boxes, and it's not about productivity theater. You know what that is. A small win is evidence of movement. And that matters. It answers a single, brutally honest question. Did something meaningful move forward today? Not did we talk about it. Not are we aligned. Not did we schedule our next meeting. Did something actually move? Does this trip you up? Do you hear small win and think small effort or small ambition? Well, that's backwards. Small wins are not small because they're trivial. They're small because they're repeatable. And repeatability, consistency, is what creates momentum. Most teams are secretly waiting for motivation. And maybe not even teams, maybe it's even you waiting to get motivated to do the thing that you want to do, waiting to feel more clear, waiting to feel more confident, more aligned, or more ready. And while you're waiting, nothing's moving. This is where we get to dig into some research. Teresa Amabile studied motivation in real knowledge work environments. What she found was deeply inconvenient for how most teams operate. The strongest driver of motivation? It's not praise, although that helps. It's not perks, that also can help. It's not inspirational speeches. It's not pressure. It's progress. Which means motivation does not precede movement. Motivation comes from movement. Let me say it again. Motivation does not create momentum. Momentum creates motivation. If you wait to feel motivated before acting, you're structurally guaranteeing you're going to stagnate. So, if small wins are so effective, why do we resist them? Why don't we focus on them? Okay, first, small wins don't satisfy the ego. They don't look impressive. They don't feel heroic. They don't generate applause. You don't get recognition for quietly removing friction behind the scenes. Second, small wins feel unsatisfying to planners and consultants. They want coherence before action. They want elegance before evidence. They want the whole system to make sense before touching any part of it. The problem is that clarity often emerges from the movement, not from thinking harder. Third, small wins expose responsibility. When you move something forward, even slightly, you become visible. You're accountable. You might be wrong. Waiting is safer. This is why teams often default to big plans. Big plans delay exposure. Big plans postpone judgment. And big plans let everyone feel productive without committing to action. Small wins remove the hiding places. Let's get concrete, because this is where people usually nod and then do nothing different. Here's what a small win might look like. Closing one open loop that's been floating around for weeks. Clarifying a decision that everyone thought someone else made. Fixing one recurring handoff that keeps getting friction. Writing that first ugly draft instead of refining the outline again and again and again. Making that tough call instead of sending the fourth email. And testing one assumption instead of debating all the hypotheticals. Notice something important here. None of these are dramatic or glamorous, and they're not going to show up on a highlight reel. But they all impact the state of the system. And that's the point. Small wins change the system that you're operating in, not just how you feel about it. The word daily here in our title is doing a lot of work in this principle. Delivering a small win once feels good. Delivering small wins consistently can change your identity, can change your team, can change your culture. Teams that deliver daily small wins start to see themselves differently. They stop saying, we're still figuring this out. We're waiting on clarity, or once things settle down, we'll do the thing. And they start saying, hey, we're making progress. Hey, we're learning as we go. And you know what? We'll adjust if we hit a roadblock. This shift is subtle but profound because daily wins create trust amongst the team. Trust that things don't stall forever. Trust that effort is going to lead somewhere. Trust that problems shrink when they're confronted. And trust that allows teams to take bigger risks when they need to. Here's a trap I'm seeing lately. Teams that say they want momentum, but they design their work in a way that makes momentum impossible. They create projects that are too large and move too quickly, too vague to complete, and too interdependent to start. So nothing moves. Nothing happens. That strategic plan sits on the shelf. And then they blame the workload or priorities or leadership or circumstances. Instead of redesigning the work to allow for visible progress, ask yourself, what is the smallest thing that would meaningfully reduce uncertainty or friction right now? Answer it yourself. And then do it. Do it! It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be possible. Here's something you're likely underestimating. Movement reduces anxiety. When nothing moves, anxiety starts to fill the vacuum. People ruminate and foment and speculate and catastrophize. When something moves even slightly, the nervous system calms down. There's a sense of, okay, we're not stuck. This is why small wins are not just operationally useful, they're psychologically stabilizing. They keep teams from spiraling into overthinking and second guessing. There's also a quiet leadership component here. People who consistently deliver small wins don't wait for permission. Instead of saying, that's not my role, or I don't own that, or someone else should really do the thing, they say, you know what, I can do this. And then they do. That is how ownership emerges without titles. That is empowerment in a team member. Small wins are how people signal reliability, not by talking about responsibility, but by reducing friction. Before we wrap up, let's be explicit about what this principle is not saying. It's not saying to lower your standards or to accept mediocrity or ignore long-term thinking or ignoring visioning about your preferred future or to stop planning. Small wins are not a substitute for strategy. They are part of how you accomplish your strategy. Planning without execution is just a fantasy. Execution without direction is chaos. Small wins sit right in the middle, allowing you to make that progress. So here's your practice for today or this week. At the end of each day, ask yourself a question. What did we move forward today? Not what did we work on or what did we discuss, but what actually moved. If the answer is nothing, that's data. Use it. It's telling you that your system doesn't allow progress at the scale that you may be operating. Does that mean you need to shrink the target? Possibly. But the idea is that you don't have to wait for motivation to do something. You don't have to wait for a breakthrough or wait for perfection. Create your momentum deliberately, one small win at a time.